Brings us now to that breaking news. Reckless homicide charges have been filed against former Milwaukee police officer Dominique Heaggan-Brown.
He's accused of shooting and killing Sylville Smith in August. Milwaukee Police Chief Ed Flynn, as you know, just wrapped up a news conference about all of this.
Eric Ross begins our coverage. Eric.
Good afternoon. Chief Flynn addressed the media moments ago. Now, we want to be clear he does not want to butt heads with the district attorney's office, but did say more context needs to be provided about the time frame between when shots 1 and 2 were fired.
In the context of the 7.5-second video, in which 2 shots are fired in 1.69 seconds, I did not see something that looked like obviously it was a violation of policy and law. And based on that, I'd still stand by that.
And also earlier this afternoon, Mayor Tom Barrett addressed the news media. He said the determining factor to charge officer or former Milwaukee police officer Dominique Heaggan-Brown relied heavily on that body camera video. On the day Sylville Smith was shot and killed, Officer Dominique Heaggan-Brown was on routine patrol when he spotted a vehicle with out-of-state plates and a person leaning into the passenger window of the car. When Heaggan-Brown attempted to investigate, the driver, later identified as Sylville Smith, got out of the car and started running. According to court documents, body camera video shows Smith slip to the ground as he approaches a chain-link fence between 2 houses. The body camera video allegedly shows Smith rising back to his feet with a gun in his hand. Smith turns his head and upper body toward the officers, but then raises the gun and throws it over a fence and into a yard. As the gun was being tossed, Heaggan-Brown fired 1 shot, striking Smith in the arm.
I believe that the district attorney would not have filed charges had there only been 1 shot.
More than a second and a half after Heaggan-Brown shot Smith in the arm, he fired another shot, this time striking Smith in the chest. Court documents say at the time of the second shot, Smith was unarmed and had his hands near his head.
One of the most important parts of this entire investigation was as a result of the body cameras that were worn by our Milwaukee police officers. If this case had occurred 10 years ago or 15 years ago, we would not have that evidence.
And back here live, Mayor Tom Barrett reiterated that he has fully supported from day one that the body camera video be released, but ultimately said that is up to the district attorney's office. Meanwhile, Chief Ed Flynn said he is not going to bug the district attorney to release that video, and ultimately said that video will come out in court. For now, that is the very latest. Reporting live inside City Hall, Eric Ross, today's TMJ4.
Yeah, that second shot, the point of contention. Eric, thank you very much.
As for Heaggan-Brown, he's due in court tomorrow. He remains in jail on unrelated charges of sexual assault. His attorney's asking for patience from the public. He says people should not rush to judgment about the shooting. Rebecca Clough spoke to his attorney, and she joins us live with that now. Rebecca.
Yeah, George, Heaggan-Brown's attorney says he plans to enter a not guilty plea when the time comes, but he couldn't go into a lot more details than that simply because he says he doesn't have them. The attorneys are still waiting for the release of the body camera video and other evidence. They say what they do know is in the criminal complaint, and that Dominique Heaggan-Brown fired the first shot in that criminal complaint as Sylville Smith was pointing a gun at him, and that second shot came less than 2 seconds later.
There's 1.69 seconds in between the first and second shot. But what we're doing now, or what seems to have been done, is somewhat akin to replay, right? And so we're looking back on it, and it doesn't, things unfold very differently in real time.
Heaggan-Brown's attorney says that the sexual assault charges that he is facing should be thought of as separate cases from the shooting. He says both of those he will vigorously defend Heaggan-Brown in, and he is due in court for his initial appearance in the reckless homicide charge tomorrow. He's expected to get bond. A bond is expected to be set for him there. For now, reporting live in MPD headquarters, Rebecca Clough, today's TMJ4.
This one's just getting started. Thank you, Rebecca.
Smith's family put out a statement today reading, "We appreciate that the district attorney has shown independence and sound judgment in prosecuting the officer who shot and killed Sylville. We also appreciate that this is but the first step in holding that officer accountable, but a necessary step in bringing some measure of justice." The attorney representing the Smith family echoed that sentiment.
A criminal prosecution is one component of it, and a civil rights lawsuit is also another component of it. The reason the civil rights lawsuit hasn't been filed is because we don't want to jump the gun.
As you well know, the shooting of Sylville Smith set off 2 nights of violence in the Sherman Park neighborhood.
Veronica Macias talked to people about the decision to charge Heaggan-Brown. She's live with that part of our team coverage.
George and Carol, right now we're live inside Jet Beauty off of Burleigh and Fond du Lac streets. This is one of many stores that saw looting back in August. Now you're going to hear from some employees coming up in our 6 o'clock show. Community members tell me that they are happy to see this store reopen and are happy to hear about some charges coming down for the former Milwaukee police officer Dominique Heaggan-Brown. Still, they tell me charging him is only part of the solution to many underlying problems here in Sherman Park.
But I hope that a conviction will come, because in the end, a charge does not mean a conviction.
Senator Lena Taylor represents the Sherman Park neighborhood and, like many, is glad to hear that there will be homicide charges against former Milwaukee police officer Dominique Heaggan-Brown. She says these charges help rebuild community police relations, yet they do not erase a reality for many African Americans in this community.
It was an African American officer and an African American victim. However, the truth of the matter is that when you see, whether it's a boy carrying a turkey running down the street or a man who is licensed to carry, if when you see them, you see criminal.
The Sherman Park Neighborhood Association is housed where a lot of the violence unraveled, next to a BMO Harris Bank and a beauty supply store that were looted in the days that followed Sylville Smith's shooting. Executive Director Fred Curzan of the Sherman Park Community Association says charges are only part of the first steps in the healing process.
Some of these underlying issues still need to be addressed. Community police relations, housing, unemployment.
The NAACP also stresses that officers in Milwaukee need to work on cultural competency, de-escalation training, and curbside manners.
This is just about Sylville Smith. This is about a culture in the police department which this police officer alluded to, is that he could get away with anything. So when you change that mentality within the police department, that's when justice prevails.
Coming up at 6 o'clock, hear from Jet Beauty employees who are happy to finally have their jobs back. Reporting live in Sherman Park, Veronica Macias, today's TMJ4.
Veronica, thank you very much. And don't forget, we do have continuing coverage of the Milwaukee police officer charged with reckless homicide on TMJ4.com.